Hello and welcome to my video about motivational theories and how I plan to use this information in my future classes. I'd like to start with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is often portrayed in the shape of a pyramid with the largest, most fundamental needs at the bottom and the need for self-actualization at the top. While the pyramid has become the de facto way to represent the hierarchy, Maslow himself never used a pyramid to describe these levels in any of his writings on the subject. The most fundamental and basic four layers of the pyramid contain what Maslow called deficiency needs, or D needs: esteem, friendship, love, security, and physical needs. If these deficiency needs are not met, with the exception of the most fundamental physiological need, they may not be a physical indication, but the individual will feel anxious and tense. Maslow's theory suggests that the most basic of needs must be met before the individual will strongly desire or focus motivation upon the secondary or higher level needs. The physiological needs are the physical requirements for human survival. If these requirements are not met, the human body cannot function properly and will ultimately fail. Physiological needs are thought to be the most important. They should be met first. Air, water, and food are metabolic requirements for survival in all animals, including humans. Clothing and shelter provide necessary protection from the elements. Safety needs. With their physical needs relatively satisfied, the individual's safety needs take precedence and dominate behavior. In the absence of physical safety due to war, natural disaster, family violence, child abuse, etc., people may re-experience post-traumatic stress disorder or transgenerational trauma. Love and belonging. After physiological and safety needs are fulfilled, the third level of human needs is interpersonal and involves feelings of belongingness. This need is especially strong in childhood and can override the need for safety, as witnessed in children who cling to abusive parents. Deficiencies within this level of Maslow's hierarchy due to hospitalism, neglect, shunning, ostracism, etc., can impact the individual's ability to form and maintain emotionally significant relationships in general, such as in friendship, intimacy, and in family. Many people become susceptible to loneliness, social anxiety, and clinical depression in the absence of this love or belonging element. This need for belonging may overcome the physiological and security needs depending on the strength of the peer pressure. Esteem. All humans have a need to feel respected. This includes the need to have self-esteem and self-respect. Esteem presents the typical human desire to be accepted and valued by others. People often engage in a profession or hobby to gain recognition. These activities give the person a sense of contribution or value. Low self-esteem or an inferiority complex may result from imbalances during this level in the hierarchy. People with low self-esteem often need respect from others. They may feel the need to seek fame or glory. However, fame or glory will not help a person to build their self-esteem until they accept who they are internally. Psychological imbalances such as depression can hinder the person from obtaining a higher level of self-esteem or self-respect. Self-actualization. What a man can be, he must be. This quotation forms the basis of the perceived need for self-actualization. This level of need refers to what a person's full potential is and the realization of that potential. Maslow describes this level as the desire to accomplish everything that one can to become the most that one can be. Individuals may perceive or focus on this need very specifically. For example, one individual may have the strong desire to become an ideal parent. In another, desire may be expressed athletically. For others, it may be expressed in paintings, pictures, or inventions. As previously mentioned, Maslow believed that to understand this level of need, the person must not only achieve the previous needs, but master them. Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence was proposed in his 1983 book, Frames of Mind. The theory of multiple intelligence is as a model of intelligence that differentiates it into specific modalities rather than seeing it as dominated by a single general ability. Gardner articulated 7 criteria for a behavior to be considered an intelligence. These were that the intelligence showed potential for brain isolation by brain damage, place in evolutionary history, presence of core operations, susceptibility to encoding symbolic expression, a distinct developmental progression, the existence of savants, prodigies, and other exceptional people, and support from experimental psychology and psychometric findings. Gardner chose 8 abilities that he held to meet these criteria. Music, rhythmic, visual spatial, verbal linguistic, logical mathematical, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic. He later suggested that existential and moral intelligence may be worthy of inclusion. The musical rhythmic intelligence is an area that has to do with sensitivity to sounds, rhythms, tones, and music. People with a high musical intelligence normally have good pitch and may even have absolute pitch and are able to sing, play musical instruments, and compose music. Since there is a strong auditory component to this intelligence, those who are strongest in it may learn best via lecture. They will sometimes use songs or rhythms to learn. They have sensitivity to rhythm, pitch, meter, tone, melody, or timbre. Visual spatial. This area deals with spatial judgment and the ability to visualize with the mind's eye. Verbal linguistic. People with high verbal linguistic intelligence display a facility with words and languages. They are typically good at reading, writing, telling stories, and memorizing words along with dates. Verbal ability is one of the most general intelligence-loaded abilities. Logical mathematical. This area has to do with logic, abstractions, reasoning, numbers, and critical thinking. This also has to do with having the capacity to understand the underlying principles of some kind of causal system. Logical reasoning is closely linked to fluid intelligence and to general intelligence. Bodily kinesthetic. The core elements of the bodily kinesthetic intelligence are control of one's bodily motions and the capacity to handle objects skillfully. Gardner elaborates to say that this also includes a sense of timing, a clear sense of the goal of a physical action, along with the ability to train responses. People who have bodily kinesthetic intelligence should learn better by involving muscular movements, for example, getting up and moving around into the learning experience, and be generally good at physical activities such as sports, dance, acting, and making things. Gardner believes that careers that suit those with this intelligence include athletes, dancers, musicians, actors, builders, police officers, and soldiers. Although these careers can be duplicated through virtual simulation, they will not produce the actual physical learning that is needed in this intelligence. Interpersonal. This area has to do with interaction with others. In theory, individuals who have high interpersonal intelligence are characterized by their sensitivity to others' moods, feelings, temperaments, and motivations, and their ability to cooperate in order to work as part of a group. According to Gardner and How Kids Are Smart, Multi-Intelligences in the Classroom, intrapersonal intelligence is often misunderstood with being extroverted or liking other people. Those with these intelligence communicate effectively and empathize easily with others and may be either leaders or followers. They typically learn best by working with others and often enjoy discussion and debate. Gardner believes that careers that suit those with this intelligence include salespersons, politicians, managers, teachers, counselors, and social workers. Intrapersonal. This area has to do with introspection and self-reflective capacities. This refers to having a deep understanding of the self, what your strengths and weaknesses are, what makes you unique, being able to predict your own reactions and emotions. Personality refers to the pattern of thoughts, feelings, social adjustments, and behaviors consistently exhibit over time that strongly influences one's expectations, self-perceptions, values, and attitudes. It also predicts human reactions to other people, problems, and stress. Naturalistic. This area has to do with nurturing and relating information to one's natural surroundings. Examples include classifying natural forms such as animal and plant species and rocks and mountain types. This ability was clearly of value in our evolutionary past as hunters, gatherers, and farmers. It continues to be central in such roles as a botanist or chef. In the December 15, 2004 NSTA reports, Ann Tweed, who's president of the National Science Teachers Association, NSTA, concluded that a variety of teaching strategies, including inquiry-based learning and direct instruction techniques, are what is best for students. Existential. Some proponents of multi-intelligence theory propose spiritual or religious intelligence as a possible additional type. Gardner did not want to commit to a spiritual intelligence, but suggested that an existential intelligence may be a useful construct. The hypothesis of an existential intelligence has been further explored by education researchers. For use in education, Gardner believes that the purpose of schooling should be to develop intelligences and to help people reach vocational and avocational goals that are appropriate to the particular spectrum of intelligences. People who are helped to do so, he believes, feel more engaged and competent and therefore more inclined to serve society in a constructive way. Csikszentmihalyi, in his seminal work, Flow, The Psychology of Optimal Experience, outlines his theory that people are happiest when they are in a state of flow, or, as he calls it, flow theory. A state of concentration or complete absorption with the activity at hand and the situation. It is a state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. The idea of flow is identical to the feeling of being in the zone or in the groove. The flow state is an optimal state of intrinsic motivation, where the person is fully immersed in what they are doing. This is a feeling everyone has at times, characterized by a feeling of great absorption, engagement, fulfillment, and skill, and during which temporal concerns, time, food, ego, self, etc., are typically ignored. In an interview with Wired magazine, he described flow as being completely involved in an activity for its own sake. The ego falls away. Time flies. Every action, movement, and thought follows inevitably from the previous one, like playing jazz. Your whole being is involved and you're using your skills to the utmost. Csikszentmihalyi characterized 9 component states of achieving flow, including challenge, skill balance, merging of action and awareness, immediate and unambiguous achieving, flow, including challenge, feedback, concentration on the task at hand, paradox of control, transformation of time, loss of self-conscious, and auto-elic experience. To achieve a flow state, a balance must be struck between the challenge of the task and the skill of the performer. If the task is too easy or too difficult, flow cannot occur. Both skill level and challenge level must be matched and high. If skill and challenge are low and matched, then apathy results. One state that he researched was that of the auto-elic personality. The auto-elic personality is one in which a person performs acts because they are intrinsically rewarding rather than to achieve external goals. Csikszentmihalyi describes the auto-elic personality as a trait possessed by individuals who can learn to enjoy situations that most other people would find miserable. Research has shown that aspects associated with the auto-elic personality includes curiosity, persistence, and humbleness. A large majority of Csikszentmihalyi's most recent work surrounds the idea of motivation and the factors that contribute to motivation, challenge, and overall success in an individual. One personality characteristic that he researched in detail was that of intrinsic motivation. He found that intrinsically motivated people were likely to be goal-directed and enjoy challenges that would lead to an increase in overall happiness. He also identified intrinsic motivation as a powerful trait to possess to optimize and enhance positive experience, feelings, and overall well-being as a result of challenging experiences. The results indicated a new personality construct, a term he called work orientation, which is characterized by achievement, endurance, cognitive structure, order, play, and low impulsivity. A high level of work orientation in students is said to be a better predictor of grades and fulfillment of long-term goals than any school or household environmental influence. Richard Lavoie, in his book, The Motivational Breakthrough, Richard Lavoie outlines 6 motivational strategies and how they can be used and for whom they work. His first being praise. Specific, sincere praise focused on effort and improvement is effective for most children, especially for those motivated by status, recognition, or affiliation, which is a need to belong. Power. Offering minor choices will help motivate power-driven, autonomous, and aggressive children. Avoiding power struggles means figuring out how to give kids some power without ceding your own. Projects. Using projects to connect different disciplines can stimulate and motivate an autonomous or inquisitive child. People. Though all children need positive relationships, it's especially important for adults to build positive relationships with people-orientated kids. Prizes. Prizes hold huge appeal to children driven by status, recognition, affiliation, or power. But because formal reward systems may divert attention from the actual task, Lavoie suggests intermittent rewards not announced ahead of time to celebrate best efforts. Prestige. To some extent, all children need to feel important. But for autonomous, aggressive, status, or power-driven children, prestige and recognition are fundamental. Consistent encouragement and opportunities to showcase their talents are important. In my teaching career, I will need to come up with a wide variety of motivational techniques so that I can hit each kinds of kids at different times in different places. I certainly can't tailor every single lesson for 35 kids in my class, but I can use 4 or 5 techniques that I've discussed and they will pretty much catch most of these kids most of the time. Thank you very much for watching my video.